Ladies and gentlemen and distinguished guests, I would like to welcome you all to the short film screening of Ponytail this evening. The film has been directed by Samiha Khelifa and Hasan Ramazan Yılmaz, who are also with us tonight. I would like to quickly introduce the directors just before we start, please. Samiha Khelifa completed her BA degrees in English and French languages. She taught Arabic language and literature at the Marmara University and holds a MA degree in directing. Khelifa wrote 2 novels. Her screenplay, INDAMA ATAMARADO EL-AKHLAK, won the Best Script Award in FENNEC D'OR, Algeria, and afterwards was shot as a TV series in 30 episodes. Hasan Ramazan Yılmaz graduated from the Istanbul University Faculty of Communication and Ph.D. candidate in the cinema at the same university. Yilmaz worked as a research assistant at the Istanbul Commerce University, Visual Communication Department. He holds a MA degree in Cinematography. Samiha Khelifa and Hasan Ramazan Yılmaz, the directors of the movie, to the stage. Thank you.
Hi everyone. It's okay? Yeah? Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the film. To begin with, I would like to say a few things about the intellectual background of film art. Hopefully we can categorize Ponytail better after this. So the key word is mimesis when we think about the intellectual source of film and art. Simply the situation that human being copy the things that he or she see in the nature. This approach is in the heart of Hollywood cinema. First of all, Hollywood is the best example of mimesis. What it does is representing people's behavior and feelings in the direction of certain messages and ideologies. Hollywood copies what people do, but it ignores the truth behind what people do. When Hollywood dominates the European cinema during the Second World War, maybe before that, it was very clear that there was almost no chance for original national cinemas in Europe. So one thing saved national cinemas in Europe. There was the realist point of view. In that case, images or situations don't represent anything. They just present the original facts and situations, what people do, how do they live. So one of the first examples of this perspective in European cinema is neorealism, Italian neorealism movement. So they actually was filming one of the biggest diseases in the modern world. It was it was very difficult situation for people, but there wasn't any exaggeration or any dramatization of all those situations. People, nature, cities, they were filled just as they are.
What are you doing?
So I will finish in a few minutes. So it was the time that everybody knows that Western modernity failed. Today we still know and experience modernity and other tools of modernity, the ideals of modernity, such as welfare state, they all failed. So this put postmodern filmmakers in a nihilist perspective. The atomization of people and life bring postmodern filmmakers to a nihilist perspective. We also see the crisis in civilization, but we can't imagine a nihilist world. So in Ponytail, we concentrated on one of the biggest diseases of modern world, which elderly people face, but we didn't want to show or represent this situation in a nihilist way.
No, thank you. Okay. That was really long lesson. I will never work with you again. Welcome everybody. Bienvenue à tout le monde. Thanks for sharing this experience a tiny bit. First, in terms of directing, first experience for me. And Ponytail was at the beginning a small idea, a tiny idea about life and the circle of this life, where the starting and the end point is exactly the same, where people start with the same needs, weakness, and finishes with the same thing. So that was what we wanted to build the script with. And after that, I started with a partner, a scriptwriter, a friend of mine, trying to build this story, this idea into a script. But for me, what I see, which is a little bit hard for me to explain as well, but I think in terms of writing scripts, because I've been writing scripts before, starting directing whatever the story is. So I tried to, let's say my mistake was to making a feature film into a short film, which is the case here. I thought Ponytail will be a short film, but with giving some details of what the story, or some details of the story that we had. However, those details were not enough for us to explain or to give all what we wanted as ideas, thoughts about this circle of life. So directly I started from my weakness. Directly I started from my mistakes, because me as a person, I think that's the best way to get into the right way, which is hopefully you got the idea of Ponytail and you enjoyed it, because I think with Hasan we spent like months trying to prepare the pre-production and production, and after that the post-production as well, and it was like really a hard period for us in terms of experience as well. For both of us, it was the first work together, the first work for me in terms of directing. That's all for me for now, and ready to answer your questions if there's any. Thank you again.
Thanks for the talks. I just would like to ask you to link what you both said to those two books that the daughter has discovered in her mother's bedroom after she died. Kierkegaard's Gospel or something. I didn't quite catch up the name of the book. And the other book, which I can't really remember. So why did you place those books in the frame, and how do they link to the things that you've actually said?
Beyond Vision.
Sorry?
Last one was Beyond Vision by Pavel Lorensky, a Russian Princeton scientist. So we wanted to depict Anna, Grace's mother, as an ideal character who is looking after the truth. So while we are thinking that she has a link with those books, especially the last one was discussing the art philosophy of Middle Age, Christian art philosophy of Middle Age. So the first one, of course, were discussing and exploring Islamic mysticism. So the mother character is looking after the truth of the world. So she doesn't just looking at from one point of view. So that's why we wanted to idealize that character by those books and afterwards the films, and we explored what all those films mean to her by Helen's comments.
I just wanted to add something. Building the character actually is not only giving him a name and a role and lines to say. It's also about the soul that they have to present in the film. So for us, Anna was the spiritual character of the film, and she was the whole idea there. The whole story was built with her absence, let's say, because she's not there, but she's completely there. We wanted to feel her through the books, pictures, films, and all the movements that her daughter trying to represent with her husband and her daughter as well as a whole, in a whole life, within their family and outside the in the nursing house. So the character is not there as a body, but he's there through the books, through those videos, the pictures, and if you got the atmosphere as well in her empty home in the nursing house. So it was like even the colors were different a bit from the other colors that we got to use in the whole film. So it's a spiritual thing, and basically the title is a title for everyone. It may mean something for you or not as a person as well, but in this specific character, in this specific film, for her is the representative of her non-present character there.
Was it based on real life story? manufactured from, or how did it become to get in line?
That's a good question, actually, because sometimes when I write, I hate myself because I think I'm the real character that I'm writing about. And I believe the story starting from myself first. So I do that, I feel that character, I react the way he or she wants to be in that story, and then I realize I'm not him or or she, and then I try again to get out of him or her, to go back to my own personality, which is a bit hard for me. So the answer for this, it is based on a real story if you want to see it like that, and it's not if you...
But would you do the research before you go ahead and write them?
For sure, yeah. I have a small experience in this. I wrote with an American scriptwriter, Sonali, and she said we don't have this in our society. We can't bring people from nursing house into our house and just pretend they are part of our family. That's unbelievable. And I said, just write it. Let's write it this way, because stories may change what we have as thoughts. And it works like that. At least for me, I believe in like humanity, and I believe in this kind of acting in society, and whatever the result is, at least we try to do something.
If you could say something about the music that was used in the movie. I guess it builds on atmosphere, but if you say something more about it, where it comes from, or what is this piano music for? Thank you.
Actually, I'm not trying to say the truth here, because that's a part of our pre-production secrets. You know, it's a student, let's say final project, student's graduation project, and it's basically based on non-budget thing. So we don't have, we couldn't have any deal with a composer, and you know, it goes like you send the script to the composer, and you sit together, you meet twice or three times, and you get this spirit, and then he starts working on it. If you like it, you keep going with him, otherwise you change. It wasn't the case for us, because we tried to make it right, cheap and quick. So that's why we went through the Google, and we bought those music. How we did that? Because we worked on the script many times and the film itself. So we tried to listen to those musics online and just feel if it fits the part that you wanted it for or not. And then we bought them and we just cut them all together with mixage and things.
Thank you very much. I like the film, and you'll see why I asked my question when you look at me. But I like the fact that you didn't show old age as a problem. Well, it was a problem in a way, but you didn't show all the problems of old age. And I wondered if that reflected your personal experience and things. But in my miserable way, I was waiting for something bad to happen, to the husband to get fed up, for, you know, the wheelchair to fall downstairs and things. That just shows my typical attitude. And I think you should send a copy to the British government's social policy people, because they think it's really a nuisance that we keep on living to be too old, you know.
Thank you so much for your explanation. It's for me an explanation. That's why I started with the script, and I said my mistake is like you imagine a big painting and you put it on a little tiny piece of paper. it's exactly that what I meant. A feature film, you summarize it into a short film, whatever the minutes are. For me, it's not always a bad ending or happy ending in the films or stories. And yes, I personally had this experience with my gamma from both sides, and I know what does it mean being with an older person at home, at the same time a baby at home, and looking for both sides, trying to feed them, trying to look after them every single time, during lunch, during dinner time, playing time, and even when they sleep. So starting from what I had in my own life, I said to Sunali, there is something happening outside USA, and let's just try it and show it to people. And it doesn't mean you have an older person at home, you are in trouble. You're not in trouble, you're with full wisdom there.
Thank you. Thank you.
About the difficulties what the elderly lady has, we just wanted to concentrate on Grace's journey to find the lost virtue of humanity. So we wanted to show her the difficulties as less as possible, but from from Grace's point of view, she actually has got the half of that virtue as long as she grows the baby up. So all those little moments that she helped Helen, she was actually know more or less what kind of physical and emotional difficulties and problems Helen had.
Yeah, Ponytail, because the youngest character that we had at Ponytail, the film, was my own daughter, and we thought about another title, to be honest with you. However, because of her hair at that time, and at the same time when we've done casting with different actors and actresses, and that one we went with was with the short hair as well. So we said it's a good idea to change the title into Ponytail and just add that line at the end, which is presenting why.
Semboller kullanılmıştı elbette filmde. Kitaplar ve filmler ölen insanın anlam arayışıyla alakalıydı. Ben orkidenin temel olarak hangi sebeple kullanıldığını düşündüm. Ama bir şey de çıkaramadım. Pahalı ve vahşi olması haricinde aklıma bir şey gelmedi. Onun cevabını alabilirim sizden.
Ya biraz belki Türkçe mi vereyim cevabı? In English, please. So the question was this symbolic of orchids in the story. I mean, flowers is a big word as well, but if you do some research, you realize that orchids have maybe the only, if not the first flower or something like that. They can live for long with you, and it's the only type of flower where you can find them everywhere, inside and outside. So it's exactly what Anna doing in the story. So she's at home in her room in the nursing house, and she's outside which is everywhere because she's gone there. And the orchids is symbolizing her path from the start to the end. And pink, no answer for this.
Maybe he was saying that there is no reason to lose one person's hope, even if he or she is really so close. He or she came to the end of her life. So we knew that orchids is continuing their journey after Helen went to Grace's house and started to live with her. So actually Helen also explained this a little bit, but that is not the end of the world. Even if someone someone passed away, she or he, not only she or he, will continue to the life. The things that they left behind will also continue their journeys. So it was an important point for us that physical difficulties sometimes don't mean anything, not a reason to lose elderly people's hope from physical and metaphysical life.
Thank you very much.